It's a very, very difficult way, as they all are. The difficult part of it is that the institutions have a way of changing that make compromises that are necessary to remain within the structures have a tendency over a period of time to change you in such a way that when the time comes when you have the power to make the changes, you have a feeling that they're not necessary, that things seem to be not as bad as you thought they were. And which is not to say that everyone's path is the same, that it's essential for people to go where they can go, to do what they can do. But it is essential that we, in my opinion, understand what it is that has to be done. If we understand what it is that has to be done, you can do it either better or poorly, but at least you know what you're doing. And that's why, in my opinion, it's essential to have some clarity on this point.
I think your question may be approached by asking another question, and that is, what is the ultimate problem? The ultimate problem of nuclear weapons, or the ultimate problem of the tendency toward violence, coercion, and manipulation, which includes riot, all of which our government has done in various ways. And then the question is, can you achieve the ends through those means?
And what I heard you saying very carefully was that we need to look at our means so that we're destroy what we're after in the process. And I agree with many people who've spoken it, but I think the word military is not going to communicate that for most people. So I hope you can find another one.
I hear you saying
non-violent against people, violent against things. I think
it's projecting anti-personnel violence. you have to reject anti-personnel violence. Now, the negative pregnant in that is that one is implicitly allowing for anti-material violence. And the difficulty is that people who we all come out of the tradition of nonviolence, that there is some distinction here. That to destroy nuclear missiles is, beyond any doubt, a violent act. To destroy bridges, to destroy weapons is a violent act. But it's my personal belief that it is the taking of even a single human life that will drain the energy from our movement. And it is not the destruction of a nose cone. And it is not the destruction of a tank or a gun or a military airplane. And that we have to come to reflect upon the necessities of our time and understand that we are in very serious times. And these missiles and weapons are very real, that they are being shipped around the world, that there is an effort that is in the immediate process of being undertaken now to move this type of weaponry to El Salvador, to kill people that are virtually defenseless in the face of these types of helicopter gunships. And there is an obligation that falls upon us out of the Judeo-Christian ethic to stop this from happening.
I just want to say, I think there are other kinds of bridges which are perhaps more important, and those are the mental bridges and the emotional bridges, and that for one of those tanks to move across the bridge, someone has to get in and start it up and drive it across, and stopping that maybe is more important than tearing down the actual tank.
I think that part of what you're saying sounds like it's important whatever you do that it be done out of love. Not only for those who are with us, but also for those who are against us, because that detracts from the violence of any act that you might take against property. And I think if you do it out of love, then I think that it's possible to create those bridges, those emotional and mental bridges across, what perhaps may seem to be endless caverns and separations.
If each person reaches one person and that person reaches another and another, it can spread. Everybody's job doesn't have to be a great big job.
I would just like to say, too, that in my lifetime, I've never really found it difficult to be a Christian. I found it very comfortable, really, to be a Christian. And I'm also religious. I've been a sister for 25 years, and I haven't found that terribly difficult either. I'm comfortable. And I was thinking in response to what you're saying, like, maybe for the first time, I'm really going to experience the fullness of Christianity. Take up your cross and follow me. And to really stand for something, because perhaps it's only when we feel that pain and that uncomfortableness that we truly are being Christian in the fullest sense of the word. And I think that's what's going to be demanded of us in these days ahead of us, as it never perhaps has been before.
I'd like to think in terms of what Dr. Dave said, to try to create a world where you have a better chance to be good.
I think there's another thing that I try to think about, especially when I get down and depressed after watching the news almost every night, that in every country in the world, and in every religion in the world, there are people just like us who are asking the hard questions and then acting on them. There are communities of people throughout the world, and I think that's more obvious now in El Salvador and in the Philippines and in Korea and some of those places that we realize there are people resisting, and our base is international.
I think there's one thing in closing for me is that the real moral press that I feel is that if many of us are not willing to do these types of things that I'm talking about now, is that the only alternative will soon be in the hands of those who think it's necessary to destroy the tank driver, who think that it's necessary to take up guns and kill the people that disagree with us. is that the time is very short here. And our sisters and brothers in Latin America and other places who we sit down to talk with have said that the time is past there, where they had this alternative. That they sincerely believe that unless they pick up the gun and kill their sisters and brothers who disagree with them, that they will be killed and tortured and their families destroyed. And here in the United States, we have time. There are some things that can be gained through the democratic channels of advocating change. There are things that can be done in advocating change in the courtrooms of our country. But the simple fact is that they will tell you that if they had thought that there was a chance, when they just had to move against some of the war machinery and some of the war installations and didn't have to face the issue of having, in their opinion, to kill their sisters and brothers, they would have thanked God for the opportunity to have had that talked about, to have been shown some of the possibilities of how that could have been done. And the brothers Berrigan and their sisters and brothers show this way. They show us the way where these blends can be taken, where some of the direct action can be taken, where if in fact one is caught, one can make a forum in public to discuss these issues, and that there is time left where this can be heard, where the images can be heard, and the symbols can be understood. And I pray that the day will not come when we feel compelled to take up the gun against our sisters and brothers, because then all is lost.
And that is the wars of national liberation or the cruelest of all wars. I agree with you.
And it's not going to be done.
In relation to what you were saying, I struggle between two poles. As a believer, I believe that God has no hand as well. On the other hand, I think there is some perception and a potential trap to imagine that we ourselves are going to solve this problem. It doesn't go